You have to start doing stuff again.
I feel like this is the plot to a movie.
And you send a message of what I have to start doing.
I feel like this is almost the plot to Multiplicity. At least part of the plot of Multiplicity.
I'm just saying, like, if a job pays enough money, there's no reason like several people couldn't team up to do it and cut their working hours.
Yeah, that is true. Especially if you have a job where you're doing the job that would normally be done by multiple specific people.
I mean, just, like, even my job, right? It's like it pays enough for two people who live in a poor place or a normal place, not a city, right? So I could just find someone else to write half the code, right? I work Monday, Tuesday. They'll work Wednesday, Thursday. Then we just fake it on Friday.
Especially on the upper end of salaries where you get paid a lot, but you don't actually have more hours of work to do.
Right.
All right, well, let's do the show. Let's see if anyone even watches our cheese show. Show on cheese. It's Thursday, August 1st, 2019. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is the GeekNights cheese episode. I am pretty confident we have never talked about cheese as a topic. In fact, all I could find was a GeekNights episode from a long time ago where the show notes say something to the effect of Rim got a hold of some Christmas cheese, and it's a link to a tweet, and the tweet is just a picture I took on my phone of Emily standing somewhere holding in her hands like 2 pounds of wrapped Vermont cheddar with no other context, no replies, no thread, no follow-up. I have no way to know what this Christmas cheese is except to go listen to this old episode of GeekNights.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to link to that, and I hope one of you will listen to this episode, or maybe you're insane and you remember this old episode, and you can tell me what the deal is with my Christmas cheese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like you just deleted our cheese episode in order to do another cheese episode.
I mean, it took you a while to get here, so that's definitely what I did.
Strategy whenever he's got no episode ideas. He finds an old episode, deletes it, and then is like, oh, we never did a cheese show. It's like someone out there has an archive of that cheese show.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. So I got a bunch of travel, but I had my old job. You may remember pretty often GeekNights would be derailed for a week or two at a time because I had to fly around the world like a lot. And when I took the new job, one of the nice things was, as much as I enjoyed all that travel, it was nice to just not have to travel when I wasn't 100% feeling it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is like, traveling, going on vacation is like great. Not a lot of people get to do it at all, right? Most people like stuck where they are and can't move around too far in general, regardless of whether they want to or not.
Like if you have a job that doesn't travel and your company like sends you to London for a week, that's amazing.
Right.
But if you like every month are in London.
Well, it's like if you keep going to the same place, then it's sort of like, well, you're kind of living in a different place. You're not really touristing there.
Yeah.
Right? You're
like,
part-time living there, which is not as great.
Like for all the time I spent in London this year, or like last year, when Emily and I went on a vacation there, it was the first time I'd ever been to London in my life as a tourist.
Right. It's like if you go somewhere and you're not, even if you don't do touristy things when you're a tourist, you're smarter than that. You're still having free time there where you can do whatever, check out stuff during the day. If you're sent to a place to work and they actually have a lot of work for you to do there and not a lot of bullshit time,
then you're working all day.
Then it's just a fucking different office in a different time zone with maybe a different language or different accents or different food or something like that. And it's slightly novel maybe the first time because of the, those kinds of differences. But
it's like the first few times.
You're just doing work in a different office. It's as novel as, it's not too different from just working in a different office across the street.
Yeah, well, the first few times you do it, though, one thing that's fun is that you're in a place, like when you get out of work, you don't, like, what are you going to do, go back to the hotel?
Right.
So you go, like, check out the city.
But
like,
it depends how much time you got. If you're working too much, it's like, okay, well, it's like I worked 8 hours in this other city, and then I ate a dinner at a new restaurant, and went to I checked one thing out, and then I went to bed because I got to work tomorrow in the same place. It's like, come on. But if you're sent on business travel with lots of bullshit time, like go to this conference, give a talk, and you're there for 3 days.
Yep.
It's like, oh, well then I guess I'll be spending day 2 looking at the tapestries.
Yep. And or like a lot of my travel was not work all day. It was you have to meet with these important people in this city, go there for like N days, or like go to all these European cities and you have one meeting in each one of them. And I didn't really have like work that had to be done during those trips other than those meetings and the follow-up to those meetings.
Yeah, so That's good travel.
And more importantly, like you got like do a trip to Paris and you're working the whole time, but your work is go visit people like all over the city. And
Right.
it's almost like a scavenger hunt. That's
Another
fun.
another thing that can happen is, so there's the bullshit business travel where you don't get to do anything. You're just
Yep.
a different office.
Or the
There's
travel to a low tier American city.
well,
like
it's not. It's like
if you're like working
you
in
know
New York,
traveling in the same country is meh.
yeah, like I've done business trips in the past where it's like go to Chicago for a week. That sucks.
Right. Business travel where you actually get to have time, that's good. But sometimes the business travel either has you away from home for a consecutively long time, or even if it's not consecutive, it's home back, home back, home
Yup.
back, and it's just the number of days you're not home enough, and it's like, why am I even paying for this home? It's like, even if I went on vacation, vacation, it's like if I went to the tropical island and it wasn't my home and I was there for like a month, I'd be like, this is too long. I want to go home.
Yep.
If my home was here, that would be amazing, but it's not.
Yep.
It's like, you're not homesick necessarily. Like a child who misses their home is just like, you got shit at home you kind of want to do. You don't want to be away too much. You want to be home and away with the right proportions. Otherwise, it's like I can't see my people. I can't
Yep.
take care of my biz.
But now, due to the nature of my job,
I
looks
don't
like
got my stuff with me. I want to use some of my stuff. I don't got it.
So it looks like I'll be traveling again, but for a very different company, and we'll see how that all goes. But it's going to be mostly London, which I've spent so much time in London. Like, I know.
I still don't understand with our modern technologies of video conferencing and such. Like, why is there this real? There are cases where you need to send a person somewhere, but like, if you're just a businessy person who talks and discusses and things
For
like that,
routine work, there's no reason for that kind of travel.
right? As opposed, if you just meeting with people, if you have a business, if you're doing something like, I'm a Formula One engineer and the race is in Germany, I need to go to Germany to work on the car, right?
Well, it's also like, say
But
you get
if
a new
you are-
team and you want to like meet the team in person and get to know them, and then you don't really travel back there that often.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Yeah,
But
that's the kind of
it's like-
travel I'm doing, or like meeting clients or something. It's not
even
like
meeting clients, I'll just meet you on the fucking phone. Jesus
no.
Christ.
For whatever reason, almost every interaction I've ever had in commercial like stuff over all these years, meeting people in person just ends up being way more effective than using utterly perfect video conferencing technology, and that's just how it is.
Well, the damage to the environment, I think, outweighs the effectiveness of all the extra travel that's going
Yep,
on.
but due to the nature of my job,
Not to mention the other costs.
I got to do like carbon offsets and stuff. Like I actually got this report of how much carbon I'm wasting by doing this trip, and I gotta like offset it. There's all this stuff.
Yeah, well, you're gonna be eating lettuce then on the trip.
Yeah, but the problem is, well, not the problem, but I'm going to London, which whatever. I like London. Like going to London for a week is always fun because I know a lot of people in London. There's stuff to do in London. It's like being in a slightly different New York. People talk a little funny, but then I got to go to. Nothing against Frankfurt, but I've been to a lot of German cities, and visiting Frankfurt is like, that is the least German city I want to visit.
Aren't you gonna get some great Frankfurters though? Like the best, the original?
Frankfurt's known for having an airport.
I know that.
Like,
That's what I know it for.
Yeah.
The airport and its name.
yeah.
Hot dog.
Like if I had to rank
The hot
German
dog airport.
if I had to rank German cities that I've spent a lot of time in terms of how much I like them, like Munich is number 1 by far. Hamburg is like Hamburg's like a distant second. Berlin's like close, like pretty close to Hamburg. I think I like Hamburg more than Berlin, but I haven't spent a lot of time in Berlin. List almost every other major German city, and then Frankfurt at the bottom was just an airport and a bunch of meetings that are within walking distance of said airport.
Whoa, the airport's like downtown.
The airport's
airport?
like right there.
Wow, that's pretty good.
So yeah, sometime basically after PAX, there'll be a week of no Geek Nights, and then we'll be back to our regular schedule.
No, that's good for me. I got free. Rim goes on trips. I got time to do shit.
Yeah. So you got any news?
Maybe I'll do shit related to my news. So, Ninja, who I guess is still maybe like if not the number one, like one of the top video game streamy people on the earth.
Yep.
And I don't know. I guess he's still popular and he hasn't fucked up majorly like some other streamers have. He hasn't PewDiePied himself.
Yep.
So I guess I'm not gonna call him good, but he's not evil, I guess. Not yet.
We are reasonably. It's plausible.
I've only
that
watched
he is-
I've watched one Ninja stream for 5 minutes, and he was like, "Yeah, a guy that the kids would like, I guess."
Yeah.
Not someone I need
Like
to watch.
I've watched his stuff, and I can see like. You watch one of his streams, and you can imagine exactly the kind of kid who's into that.
Anyway, So he has decided to move from Twitch to exclusively Mixer. So if you don't know, Mixer is another site that basically does what Twitch does. You stream yourself playing games, but it's obviously much less popular than Twitch, much less well known. It's not owned by Amazon or some giant company. I think it's probably some startup that's losing money hand over fist. I'm not sure about that. But that's what my guess. It's probably correct. But it has a ton of features that Twitch doesn't have, like built right in and plugins and all
Like
kinds
share your controller. Like let your listeners fuck with your controller.
Right, you can do quizzes and all kinds of crazy interactive stuff with your audience. And whereas on Twitch, you would have to like do development work to get a lot of these features.
Yep.
Mixer makes it a lot easier, and they provide a lot of them out of the box. You don't got to do anything really other than use Mixer.
Now, while Mixer, like I don't care about Mixer at all yet, but I'm glad it exists and it's getting some traction because it's forcing Twitch and YouTube to up their game a little bit.
Well,
like I want
so
healthy
the thing is-
competition.
right, so YouTube's competition, YouTube shut down YouTube Gaming, which was literally just a different UI for YouTube and a different homepage that would filter out just gaming content or filter to just gaming content. And they shut that down. You can still live stream on YouTube, but I don't think a lot of people do really.
What seems like most people do is they live stream on Twitch.
They live stream on Twitch.
And then they put up the polished VOD on YouTube.
And if they're a big streamer, they have someone who edits for them like the best clips of the day of their day-long stream and makes YouTube videos out of them, and they get 2 revenue streams, right?
Yep.
Some people are you follow them on YouTube, some follow on Twitch, some do both, whatever. Apparently, I wasn't fully aware of this. I knew Facebook had live streaming, right? But I figured it was mostly used for things, for example, like mayor press conference is usually streamed on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right? Apparently, that Facebook gaming booth that's always at PAX, I thought that was about things like Oculus, because Twitch owns Oculus. Facebook owns Oculus, right? And I thought it was about things like games you can play on Facebook, or games that like link to Facebook, or
something along those
games
lines.
that Facebook developers are developing. I thought that's what that booth was about.
And you might say, but Raymond Scott, aren't you journalists? 1, no, and 2, not anymore, not really.
That's a booth that I walk past and glance at, and that's about it. It's
I've
enormous and useless.
I've been to a lot of PAXs. If I look at a booth for more than a second, that already means I am deeply invested in whatever it is they got.
Yeah, so that booth apparently was actually about people who use Facebook to stream themselves gaming instead of or in addition to Twitch. And I didn't realize anyone did that, but apparently people do and have some number of viewers. Facebook is like a competitor in that arena, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess.
I
I don't think the kinds of streams I watch would be popular on Facebook.
But it seems like YouTube failed to compete with Twitch. Facebook is trying, but I guess it hasn't succeeded. But Mixer actually seems to be doing better than YouTube or Facebook, at least just by my feeling.
But it seems like it's
competing with Twitch.
I think it's just because of 2 simple factors. 1, they added some features that Twitch is probably just going to also implement
eventually.
And 2, until
Facebook
now,
and YouTube would be wise to get
until
those
now,
features.
most of the people I've seen moving to Mixer seem to be people who aren't that popular and going to a platform that's like kind of popular, at least doing okay, you'll be a much bigger fish relative to the small pond.
That's always the dilemma here, right?
Because it gives you that algorithmic boost.
You might think so, but think about this, right? Let's say you're above 0 on Twitch, right? You have a small following. You go to Mixer. On Mixer, like, you're on front page of Mixer. So literally everyone on Mixer, you're getting their attention.
I think you're better off getting front paged on Mixer than having, like, under 5,000 Twitch subscribers.
A lot of it depends on numbers, first of all, exact numbers. But also, it's like, that Mixer pond is so small. Are you you're not getting additional viewers because no one's on there. But on Twitch, for example, right? I've been watching a lot of Mario Maker streaming because it's really, first of all, if you want to watch a game streamed, Mario Maker is the best because it's always something different. It just keeps changing constantly. But also, I found this Irish dude who's in 2nd place for Endless Mode, and he's just like this quiet, cool Irish dude who just casually plays Mario Maker 12 to 16 hours a day like a nut, but is totally chill. And he is in 2nd place in Endless Mode, always trying to catch the crazy Spanish person in 1st place who apparently doesn't stream, or at least we haven't found their stream. We don't know who they are. And his stream is totally chill. But I found him because what I did is I went to Twitch, and I clicked on Mario Maker, which showed me all the Mario Maker streams on Twitch. And I scrolled up and down, and I looked at them all, and I saw one that said, like, 2nd place, endless, blah, blah, streak. And I clicked on that one. Right? On Mixer, there's a lot less people doing that. So
True.
if you are in, like, not on front page of Twitch, you're on middle page, you might pick there's just so much more people there. You might pick up some, I guess what we would call it, street traffic.
Yep, it's hard to say though
right?
because
Foot
discoverability
traffic eyeballs, just
discoverability
people
is
browsing
still
around on Twitch.
really low in this space.
Yeah, I
like
know.
you have to already be big to be big.
But anyway, right, so in this case, Ninja, who's enormous as
well,
far as streaming
so
goes.
you say he's enormous, but this article actually says something specific. He reportedly has 14,900-ish subscribers,
Okay.
down from his peak of 285,000 last year.
All right, yeah.
So that's an order of magnitude. And if you look at Twitch Tracker, you see him peak.
Still living off it.
Yeah, but you see him peak in March of 2018 and just a constant, steady decline just since then. Like he's losing
Well, I
viewers.
mean, a lot of the people were probably watching him when he was the hottest shit, right?
Yep.
And like in those days when he was at his peak, he was getting celebrities on there. And
Yep.
like Fortnite was new, and it was.
But his
right?
number of active subscribers has dropped
It's
off
really.
a cliff.
I mean, to maintain that is just so untenable, right?
Yeah.
You would have to constantly be like the hottest shit all the time, constantly doing something new, grabbing attention. People get bored of watching the same guy do the same,
Yep.
And the thing is, it's like, okay, people are getting bored. I'm just keep doing what I'm doing. So I mix it up, and then you lose people who are into you for the thing you were doing.
Yep.
So you can't really win. It's unsustainable to just, when your content is a person sitting there playing game. Right. This is why, if you're a TV network, you can sustain by having new programming and new.
Yeah, there's
seasons
more
and
than one
new-
television show on a network.
Right. You can doing things to like sustain constantly. If your entire network, hours and hours and hours a day is your face and a video game, you can't sustain the high counts. There are gonna be fluctuations and variations. But
One thing I will say though, this article says something that rankles me a little
he's
bit.
still very large. So moving to another platform, he has a significant portion of his following.
Well,
that
people will
go-
follow him
that will
there.
go to wherever he goes. So once you're big enough, you don't need the platform anymore. You have an audience. You
Yup.
can go wherever you want to go and bring them with you. I wonder if Mixer paid him to go there to help them, or if he's just going because of the features and it won't hurt him to leave.
Or maybe he's going because of his he's losing popularity and he's trying to consolidate or make a move
I mean,
or something.
there are definitely people who, if they left Twitch, would lose a ton, right, of their following.
Yeah. But this article also says something interesting. It says that a lot of people basically says that Mixer is also said to have a much more friendly community than Twitch,
because
which
it's smaller.
yeah,
It
that's a
doesn't have the-
ridiculous thing to say. All small platforms have better communities than big platforms, except like 8chan and Gab and all those Nazi platforms.
Yeah, I mean, if it gets big, then it'll get worse.
Yeah, it'll get just as bad as Twitch. Twitch is not bad because of much of the design of Twitch. I could argue that Twitch could design its interactions to be less toxic.
It's not even a social network or platform thing. That's just a human society thing.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, remember way back
If you have
before
a small
there was
group-
live streaming. Scott and I did a live stream of GeekNights one night. Remember that on Ustream?
Yeah.
And there were like
Does Ustream still exist?
I
even?
don't know. There were like a dozen people watching because it was a live stream. Like people didn't have bandwidth to watch stuff like that back then. So
But
we
yeah,
did-
it's like we had, like 10 of our listeners watching that one live stream, and
we
then
had like
10 was enough to hit the front page
we
of
had these
Ustream.
halogen lamps on us because LEDs weren't really like it was a long time ago.
Really low
but,
non-HD webcam.
but for whatever reason, Ustream, like about a third of the way through the stream, just put us on the front page.
Because we had like 10 people watching. So then we had like, 100 people maybe?
We got many hundreds, and then what happened was the chat filled with just
Garbo.
rage and bullshit and racism and Nazi shit like instantly.
Yep, all kinds of just random typing.
Yep, just random shit posting.
Right, so like the guy I was saying, the Irish guy playing Mario Maker, he's got tens of people watching him at any given moment.
Well, apparently
I don't know
the
why it's
average
not
number
more,
of views per channel is 10 on Mixer.
Right, but his Twitch chat, it's like you can talk in it. But even someone who just has like hundreds or thousands of people in their Twitch chat, it's a useless Twitch chat. It's just a emoji flood. It's useless.
Yep. So speaking of following someone, so I will not link to this story because I do not want to give this probably questionable dude any Google juice.
Right, so there was this dude that I'd heard his name sounded familiar.
Yeah,
but I didn't-
Colin Moriarty.
So I had his name sounded like basically when I heard the name, I was like, that reminds me of name of bad YouTube shouty man.
So you look at his Twitter. Yeah, he seems like a bad.
But I
shouty
knew
man.
nothing about him. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
But his Twitter icon is like the Gadsden flag, and his name is like no tax something.
Yeah,
he
and he-
appears to be a bad person.
Anyway, so this person was on some sort of panel that was accepted at PAX West this year, which we have panels at, surprise.
Yep.
And he got an acceptance email. I think the panel was pretty much his podcast or the podcast he was on.
Which,
the,
fun
the
fact,
panel.
PAX asked us for like 5 years running to do a Geek Nights panel, and we refused because we didn't want to do anything branded.
Maybe in 2025 we can do 20 years of Geek Nights, the panel.
Yeah. The listener, it'll be a luxury experience for you.
Anyway, but yeah, there was a panel that seems to be effectively their podcast, the panel. It was accepted. Before the schedule's not out yet, though.
Yeah, there's no public
They just
schedule.
but they did send out acceptance emails. They sent them then another email that said, sorry, you're canceled, but you're still getting free badges, free special guest badges, just like all the other panelists.
Now, before we
but
go
we're
on,
taking your panel off the schedule.
at professional conferences, at fan conferences, like that happens all the time.
and
That
it
is.
can happen for an insane number of reasons.
Do you know how many times I have canceled someone's panel at the last minute for just random reasons?
This isn't even the last minute. It's a month away.
Yeah, but
right?
I've canceled people's panels like the day before they arrive.
There are so many reasons it could be. It could be they had to schedule another panel in that specific time for some reason. Maybe that's the only time that the company had,
Yep.
the representative had.
It could have
free
been
time on
someone
their schedule,
misclicked and he got
th-
and he got the like acceptance email by accident. Like the CMSs that we all use to manage this kind of stuff for conventions are not great.
Yeah, there's so many reasons it could have been canceled, but we are pretty sure it's because he's a bad person.
So it's even better because he's flipping out now and getting his fans to like flip out at PAX.
Right, so clearly his reaction is proof. Oh yeah, you were a bad person.
Yep. No, it's even.
A good person who received that email would not react this way. So the fact that you received the email and reacted in this way is only proof that it was good that you received the email in the first place.
But it's extra funny. Like I'm just gonna tear down some of the points you might see around this because this is gonna be a big enough like shit show on the internet to where you're gonna run into people who care about this.
Yeah, I think this will go away as soon as.
I think it'll get
after, like, a good
I think
day.
it'll get like one step lower than this Vic Nindona thing where like his fans are being weird.
Yeah, whatever.
I added like all of them to my block
It's
list.
only noticeable for us because we're so close to PAX panels. I think most people don't even know this is whatever.
Yeah, but so point number one, this dude is like, but that's bullshit. People are like, they bought plane tickets and PAX badges to see me there.
Well, now, first of all,
There is no universe where that is true because PAX didn't even send acceptance emails out for the panels until after the badges were on sale, and the badges sold out like instantly.
that is true. But also, even if he was the one who said, I have a PAX panel, guys, come to PAX to see me, right? And people bought badges, that was him advertising. PAX did not advertise that he was coming yet. They did not put the schedule live yet. So to sue PAX for that would be false. PAX didn't say, come buy tickets, this guy is coming. You said, buy tickets to PAX, I'm coming, which clearly was a lie on your part. It's on you.
So two,
If anything, you should have to pay those people back for telling them you were going to do a panel, and you're not.
now two, this dude is like emailing back and forth with PAX, and he's posting the emails, and he is using words like promissory estoppel.
Yes, he is clearly
Those
not-
are the words that crazy dangerous people say.
Right. Now, he
That is
not-
sovereign citizen adjacent shit.
Yeah, it is not the sovereign citizen language, but it is very adjacent to it.
Like, it's
very,
kinda like-
very. It's like right next to it in this next lane on the highway. Sovereign citizen in the right lane. He's in the second to right lane.
Yup.
Looking out he looks to his right. He sees a sovereign citizen in a rusty old car with fringe on it.
Yup. So three, he made a big deal about how I even had access to the back end system to like confirm the details of my panel and update my yeah, fucking everyone has access to that.
Yeah.
Like anyone can submit a panel.
Yep.
Anyone.
Yep.
It just works.
You
Make
can.
an
You
account.
listening right now. You can do it.
Yep. How do you think we started doing shows at PAX? One day, I went to the PAX website, and I clicked on a button, and I made an account, and then I typed in, hey, I want to do this panel.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. So this is something to avoid, and anyone who is mad about this and is mad at PAX about it is a person to avoid.
The only criticism that I have, right, of PAX's side, which is actually a larger criticism I have of things in general.
With the caveat that we don't actually know the reason.
Yeah, we don't know the reason.
If the reason is that it's because this dude is a bad person.
Probably is. I hope that's the reason.
We're just guessing. We have no inside knowledge whatsoever.
But when I feel that even if it's because the person's a shithead and they are a shithead, right, that if you kick, ban, evict, suspend, punish another person in any way for any reason under any system, whether it's private, public, whatever, that you should just tell the reason, at least to the person, right? Magna Carta, what am I being arrested for, right? It's like they should have at least told the guy, your panel is canceled because, and you can, hide some of the details if necessary.
Yeah. I mean, I have told people when I ran Kineticon for a decade, like the panel stuff, like, I scheduled fucking everything.
Because of a scheduling conflict, because of, because we determined that,
we had too much content of your type. We would love you to submit this next year.
Right.
But too much content of their type was basically code for, I accidentally accepted a Homestuck panel.
Right.
Sorry.
If you get banned from the GeekNights forum, which is super, super rare, we tell you why.
Yeah.
Right? You're a Nazi. Get out of here.
Yep.
We don't just say you're banned and then you're like, why? Why was I banned? It's like, because you're a Nazi.
Yep.
It's like, because your spelling is bad. It wasn't because English is your not first language and you didn't try to fix it.
Now, I will say that
like,
every con I've worked with, including PAX, where a panel that might have been scheduled got canceled or rescheduled or something, they have told me why.
mm-hmm.
The fact that no one told this guy why probably means he's a bad person, but again, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
But we know he's probably a bad person.
The only other criticism I have, and this is the one that's only true if he was kicked off, if this panel was kicked out of the schedule because him or other people on it were bad, and therefore they don't want those people on panels at PAX. If that was the reason, why are you giving them the free badges? You should ban them from PAX.
When I scheduled Kineticon, that was hundreds of panels. I Googled and searched social media and poked around.
Well, to be fair, you were familiar with the vast majority of the people submitting those panels.
Yeah.
If you were managing
anyone I didn't know, if I saw a panel, that one looks interesting.
Yeah, but the vast majority of them you did know.
Yeah.
Or they had been panelists before.
No, not the vast majority. More like 60% tops.
That's the majority. The point is, if you're doing it for
not
PAX,
the vast majority.
If you're doing it for PAX, you don't know none of those people.
But you know what I would say too?
That's going to be a research project to look
PAX
everyone up.
does not have that many panels.
That's true.
I researched
and
more.
A lot of them are industry also.
Yeah, you don't need is Square Enix evil? Well, not in the way that would affect us.
Yeah, right. But if someone is a problem to where you're not going to allow them to have a panel at PAX because of who they are, you should not allow them to be at PAX, period, if they're a problematic human being.
Yep, or in the very least, you should say this kind of content is not welcome at our show, or this kind of person is not welcome to present at our show for
I don't
these
think
reasons.
It was the content, because it seems like, as far as I can tell, the panel was literally just their podcast, the panel. Now, that may have been a problematic podcast. I never have and never will listen to it.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
your podcast, the panel, is not in and of itself a problematic panel, especially when we have specifically been asked to do GeekNights the panel.
Yep. But looking at this dude's Twitter, if I were scheduling a convention when I was at Kineticon and I saw this Twitter, this guy would be on my secret blacklist forever.
Yeah.
I did have a secret blacklist.
Yeah, of course.
There are a lot of people who were. I made sure they would never get a panel scheduled in case I got hit by a bus and someone finished the schedule.
Right. But yeah, if you're a bad person who's not, if you should have the same list for attendee and panelists. Who is a person such that you're bad, we're not going to let you speak at this con, but we'll let you come? It's that doesn't line up.
Of course, yeah. Well, I feel like usually when that happens, it's because someone made a mistake in accepting something in the first place, and they're trying to just back out as quietly and drama-free as possible.
But if the person actually is a problem, you should just
they're making themselves a problem.
Yeah, but that's just evidence that they are.
The way this dude is reacting, if I were in charge of if GeekNights started a convention, which kind of working on, stay tuned someday. Kinda.
The one we said we would have in this year.
Yeah,
happened already.
I'm putting more effort into it now that we're finishing up another project we were working on.
We are.
The branding stuff.
Oh yeah.
Now that has progressed well, I'm actually poking at this again. But
anyway, Stay away from this bad dude.
Yep.
He's not, gonna rescue the president's daughter from the ninjas.
But anyway, things of the day. This is an old thing that you may not have seen. The Something Awful forums, not going to get into the things about those forums, but there's an important part about them in that they were very important to the formation of modern internet culture.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
A lot of people, it's like it was a very inside group that had an outside influence on just web culture, and a lot of people don't realize the things that spawned from it. But it is many things.
There are two very famous stories that are related to each other from Something Awful, and this is a Twitter thread of someone who basically went into these archives, pulled an oral history of one of the epic threads from Something Awful and explained the deal with photos and stuff on Twitter.
This is actually a thing that you can just do in general for fun. Just find online communities that have archives, like, I don't know, GeekNights Forum, which is archived back to 2005.
And go find, like, a drama thread.
Find a thread of stuff that is, like, an interesting incident, right?
Well, like we did with one of our most popular panels of all time, the Ballad of Dude Bro.
Right, but that was a recent incident at the time. But now it's a historic incident.
Yep.
And, dig it up, do some, like...
Fun fact, we are
do
still
some digital archeology.
In most places, people talk about Dude Bro.
And tell the story of what happened.
We are cited as a, primary source.
We're not. We're a secondary source.
Yeah, we're a secondary, but we are cited as the source of the data
because I went to the actual forum where the thing happened and then did a thing about it. I'm a secondary source.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the point is digital archaeology. Cool.
So this is the story of something that is affectionately referred to as the machine to kill children.
All right.
Or the rest in peace line, a.k.a. the RIP line.
Okay.
The story is...
Is it like a zip line that's broken?
So...
Is it an action park?
I'm going to quote this tweet. Tomorrow, I'll recount the story of a dude who built a zip line for a summer camp with a 143-foot vertical drop tower to tower, bringing a test sandbag up to around 55 to 65 miles an hour.
How do you stop at the other end?
The story is this dude got a bunch of, a big budget to make a fun thing at his summer camp, like a bunch of money, and he and a bunch of people who knew a lot about construction and knew fuck all about engineering or safety built a zip line that they thought would be cool. Imagine someone making a roller coaster who didn't know how roller coasters actually work. He made a zip line that if any human being used it in any capacity would kill them.
All right, did anyone actually use it and die?
No, so he basically posted.
God.
He posted in the forum and he was like, "Yo guys, I need some. Got any suggestions on how to make this work?" The kids would come in too fast, and the people in Something Awful responded basically saying, "You dumb shit. This could never work.
Right.
You are an idiot who will kill children."
So, as someone who was at a summer camp, several summer camps with zip lines, they were lame-o zip lines. You don't have a fancy zip line at a summer camp. It wasn't the kind where you go across the top of the rainforest. It was the kind where you go...
I've done that. It's real fun.
It was the kind where you just go wee and then get off.
It's the South Park kind.
Right. And the way that they worked was you went into the woods, you climbed a tree. At the top of the tree, you tied yourself safely to the rope, right? They let you go.
Yep.
You went wee, and you would go down. But then there was a whole bunch of rope after you hit the bottom that was going up. It was like a sagging rope.
Yep.
And you didn't end at the other end of the rope, right? You would sort of hit the bottom of the curve, go up a little bit, and then come backwards. And then eventually you'd rest in the middle, and then they would let the main rope down with like a pulley system, and then they'd unhook you. Then they would pull the zip line back up, and it was a saggy rope, right? And you would end in the middle. It's not a straight rope from high to low where you end at the other end and crash into the opposite post and die.
Well, so this is very similar to an adjacent story called Grover House, which is about a dude who effectively posted a bunch of photos like, "Hey, I'm renovating my house because I'm so cool. Check this out." And Something Awful people responded saying things like, "Wasn't that a load-bearing wall?" It's a similar situation.
Did the house collapse in on his head?
It did. So, well, you can read about Grover House.
I'm not going to read about
Grover House is amazing.
I'm sure it is. I will amazingly stay away from it.
Yeah. So this is an oral history of the RIP line. So what do you got?
What did I have? Oh, yeah, this is a really simple thing of the day. It's just a little tiny video on Twitter. The caption is Street Fighter is getting
A new
pretty
fan?
creative with its merch.
I was about to
right?
say Street Fighter's got a new fan.
But yeah, I don't know if this
New
is,
fan merch.
I don't know if this is actual merch or just something someone made, and it doesn't matter. What it is, imagine a stick fan, right? An old school one, the kind I have in my bedroom. It's a stick. At the top of the stick is a circular fan.
Yep.
But the fan oscillates, so it turns left and right.
And it's got that little nubbin in the back to control the oscillation like old
Right.
fans had.
So what they have done is at the top of the fan, they have put a little thing that is Blanca, and he looks like he's getting hit. And right next to him, they've got Ken doing a hurricane kick on a stick, and the stick is in the part of the fan,
The little nub.
the little nub that spins to control the oscillation. So Ken is actually doing a hurricane kick next to the Blanca. And then, really, the delicious icing on the cake is the E-Honda attached to the front of the fan.
The first reply to this tweet, that E-Honda is fucking dope.
Right. The wind from the fan, right, is blowing into the Honda. He's attached to the front grill. Wind is hitting his back. They've cut his hand off and attached it with some kind of spring or
Actually,
wire.
it looks like a pipe cleaner.
It might be a pipe cleaner, but a pipe cleaner has got to be strong.
Or it might
Anyway,
just be paper. It might just be paper craft.
Maybe because of the wind, his hand, it might actually be 3 separate hands.
It looks like it's 3 separate hands.
that are flapping back and forth in the wind. But yeah, he's doing a little 100-hand slap there thanks to the wind from the fan. It is impressive, and they added Street Fighter music to the little video to create a masterpiece work of art. Enjoy it for its like 30 seconds, and then push rewind and watch it again.
In the meta moment, the GeekNights Book Plug book is the first novel, The Tale of Genji. We'll be live at PAX West with not one, but 2 panels, one on Friday and one on Saturday.
You're really getting through this meta moment quickly.
Yeah, because I got stuff to do after this.
It's a real moment.
Yeah, I'm going somewhere.
It's not even a meta minute. It's a meta moment.
And we are not going to talk about the Democratic primary debates.
No.
But I will just remind you that GeekNights did formally endorse back in May Elizabeth Warren.
I have not changed my mind.
After watching the
I
debates,
have only reinforced my decision.
I did watch the debates, and I am now even more solidly in Warren's camp.
Well, there we go.
So that's it. Let's talk about cheese.
All right, so I think we've done a cheese show already. Let's go home.
I don't think we've done a cheese show.
Rim deleted the cheese show, so we'll have to make a replacement cheese show.
So if I had to rank the classes of food that are my favorite foods, like broad categories, number 1 is breads, and number 2 is cheeses, and then like other stuff is after that. Like bread and cheese are some of my favorite things, and combining the two.
I mean,
is-
I can't rank like what you gonna me to rank bread, cheese, sugars, meats.
Well, you
It's
think
like,
about it in terms of what if you had to give one up? Like I would give up meat before I'd give up cheese.
Yes.
I would give up meat before I'd give up bread.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my ranking.
Okay.
That's how I rank this. Like there is almost nothing I would be willing to
All
give
right,
up
would you
bread or
give-
cheese
What would you
for.
give up first, cheese or ice cream?
I would give up ice cream first.
Would you go cheese or cookies?
I would give up cookies first.
Whoa.
I fucking love cheese.
I mean, but you love cookies, though.
I do. It's a regular Sophie's choice here.
Anyway. So
Not that Sophie. So cheese, I am very thankful that I am not lactose intolerant, and if I was,
Oh,
I
yeah.
would just like drink shots of Lactaid.
Yeah, I don't understand why people who are lactose intolerant, maybe like I've heard maybe it doesn't work that well. Now we're getting off topic, but like I would just
The stream, someone just said how we went from cheese to this.
anyway, I would just take the lactate pill and then eat the cheese. I wouldn't give up the cheese ever.
Yep, never. You know, like that guy, I listened to an NPR show a long time ago where they talk about this. They talked to this dude who is deathly allergic to shellfish, and once a year he basically eats a bunch of shrimp and then goes to the hospital. That's how much he loves shrimp.
That's a guy.
I feel like I would be that way with cheese.
Why do you need to go to the hospital then? Why not eat it at the hospital?
Oh yeah, just go to the hospital and be like, so listen, I'm about to eat all the, because the hospital might stop you from eating the shrimp.
Do eat it in the waiting room.
So, what's your favorite kind of cheese?
Can't pick just one kind of cheese.
So we'll treat this more like movies, because I don't like what are your top 5 movies as a question, but I do like name some of your favorite movies.
I like a gorgonzola cheese because it is a stinky cheese, but it is not one of those stinky cheeses
not like- it's
that
like-
is so ridiculously stinky, like you're just trying to prove how ballsy you are by eating the stinkiest cheese.
well, also,
right?
it's not that like rancid stinky or that ammonia stinky.
Exactly.
And it's not that fungusy blue stinky. It's like, take a little bit
Yeah,
of a,
because like straight blue cheese, like
which I love.
it's good, but like I guess gorgonzola is like a subset of blue cheese that's just like superior, right? So it's like
Yup.
when someone says
It's like a little spicier.
right, so when I see something that's like blue cheese dressing or blue cheese on a burger, I'm kind of mad. But when it says gorgonzola, I'm like, I'm in.
Yep. I'll just cut up gorgonzola and put it on crackers sometimes. Like
That's
direct.
okay. Yeah, but that's the thing is, even though it is a stinky cheese and its stinkiness is not ridiculously powerful, that needs to be like, whatever. I do mostly, I think maybe 100% of the time, I don't eat gorgonzola straight. It's got to be in a salad. Salad is like the best vehicle.
Oh, gorgonzola salad. We used to get that Stu Leonard's gorgonzola salad.
Right, that's like the best. But it has to have some sort of vehicle for it, right? It's not a cheese that you just eat like with the spoon. I'm sure someone does.
Make
but
a French
I
onion
do not.
soup, but melt gorgonzola instead of mozzarella over the top.
Oh,
That is a powerful soup.
That is literally hot shit. Well, not shit though, literally hot, but good shit.
Yep,
Hot,
or you make your grilled cheese with another more like mild Gennaro cheese, but then you put a little bit of gorgonzola
Right
in that.
there you go. You can't just have gorgonzola sandwich.
A grilled cheese with just gorgonzola. I don't think that's a good idea.
No. If you did make like a big sub, right, with say like some deli meats and even some other cheeses, maybe lettuce, tomato, onion, something like that, you could sprinkle gorgonzola bits down the middle of the sandwich.
Yeah, that's good too.
And that would work. Right.
I like gorgonzola on a burger a lot.
It's okay as long as it's not
More
too
so than blue cheese.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like I just said, if I saw a blue cheese burger, I would pass. But if I saw a gorgonzola burger, I would order.
Yep.
Right.
I'm trying to find lists of cheeses. There are just too many cheeses.
Right. I mean, so I know, Rit, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right?
All right.
Obviously, fake cheese. We're not even going to go to fake cheese. Fuck your easy cheese. Fuck your Velveeta's. Get that shit out of here. I don't even eat that stuff. It's garbage. I also hate anything like Cheetos or cheese puffs where it's like this nasty cheese powder that's on there.
No, Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its are real cheese. They taste actually like cheddar. It's real cheddar. Same thing with cheddar goldfish. I can eat those too.
Yep.
It's not; those aren't a matter of like a cheese poof where it's like this powder that's like blasted on. It's a matter of like, no, the cheese is integrated into the Cheez-It cracker. It's real cheese. It tastes like real cheese. It's good.
So I basically won't
It's
eat.
not a Cheeto or Dorito where it's like orange fire of poison.
I will never seek out on purpose or eat by design American cheese.
Okay, so
Because it's just too bland.
well,
It's
okay.
nothing.
So here's the thing with American. I got to have American cheese, right?
You can
So
always do better in any situation.
most people have experienced only Kraft Singles American cheese, which tastes like nothing.
Yeah.
They don't taste bad. They just taste like nothing.
Even a good American cheese as a Kraft single is not as good as
Now,
literally any other cheese.
There are good, better American cheeses.
Just
You-
get
if
Colby-
You
if you-
buy,
If you want a generic American cheese, just get like a Colby Jack or a Jack cheese instead.
if you were to buy like Land O'Lakes or Boar's Head American cheese, which I guess are normal, higher end brands that are available at every deli counter in America,
Still not worth it. There's no
Right?
reason to eat that shit.
they are not the same.
I don't know
most
why you're
exciting-
trying to defend American cheese. You really tried to set this up.
I don't know why you're trying to attack American cheese.
It's not
So,
an elephant in the room to understand that American cheese is just not worth eating under
No.
any circumstances.
It is not an exciting fancy cheese by any stretch of the imagination.
Monterey Jack, the most flavorless generic cheese.
It is not a strong flavor that these good American cheeses have, but
What are you just gonna wrap a hot dog in American cheese? Like, is that your meal now?
that's not what you use it for. But that good, not
All right.
Kraft
What
single,
do you use American cheese for other than a Philly cheesesteak, which is the only acceptable place because that's what a Philly
You can
cheesesteak
make
is
grilled
made
cheese
of.
with it. You can do whatever. You can
No.
do a lot of things with it because
Why would you
even-
waste bread on a grilled cheese?
It is not a strong flavor, but it is a flavor
I will not disagree that it is a flavor.
that is not a flavor that you will find with other cheese. American cheese does have a distinct. If you gave me a real, not Kraft singles, I mean, I guess I could tell a Kraft single just by the texture because it has like this plasticiness to it.
If you gave me an American
If you-
cheese and I was blindfolded, I would say this tastes like nothing. This
No.
must be American cheese.
No, if you gave me an American cheese, right, it has a distinct flavor, a real American cheese, that is not the same as, say, a quite adjacent Munster cheese, right, even though they're pretty close in their power levels, right? And it is a sometimes useful cheese. I will not often choose it, but I will also not, put it down as much as Rim, who wants to just wipe it off the face of the earth.
So, I found a Mental Floss article about American cheese.
Okay.
In the old days,
I do know, though, however,
American
yellow
cheese-
versus white is complete bullshit. They taste the same. It's just food coloring. You should order the yellow because it's cheaper. Because for some reason, stupid Americans just want the white color and not the yellow color. Just save money. It tastes exactly the same. Get yellow American if you're gonna get American.
So pretty much almost all American cheese is just cheese food. It's not actually cheese. Like even the fancy stuff is processed. It's not actually. They can't call it cheese.
Well, I mean, Munster cheese. All these other cheese at the deli counter are also processed.
Yeah, but Munster has a flavor and is infinitely
So does
better.
American cheese.
Yeah, nothing.
No, it has a flavor.
So I'm gonna quote
I think
here.
you just hate American cheese so much you avoid it, so you don't even know its flavor.
Classically, before factory processed stuff hit the market, American cheese was actually just a blend of cheddar and Colby.
Okay.
If you give me a blend of cheddar and Colby, sure, that is fine. I dare you to find an American cheese that is called American cheese that is actually just a blend of cheddar and Colby. Also, what's with outside of the Midwest, no one has Colby cheese. Like, I rarely find Colby cheese anywhere.
That's true. It is not a thing here in the New York area.
As a kid, I could just go to the deli and
Colby
buy
is
like
not
a brick of Colby.
Colby is not a frequently used cheese. I don't really see it on restaurant menus. I don't see it on burgers.
You can get Colby Jack.
I don't see it at the grocery. I think that the Italian cheeses are sort of like have most of the market share here in the New York zone.
The thing is, though,
right?
Colby
your
cheese,
mozzarellas, your parmesans, your provolones.
pure Colby cheese is not that good for a lot of applications. Like, it's good on a salad maybe or something, but it's kind of crumbly.
I think it's the kind of cheese you'll see a lot of times in like maybe like a Cobb salad, which is not my favorite.
Cobb salad is one of my favorite kinds of salads.
Not into it.
But that's the reason why, if you find Colby cheese in most of the coastal cities in America, it's always Colby Jack. It's Colby cheese and Jack sort of mixed together because Jack makes it more meltable and like usable. Like, it makes it more generic and easy to cook with.
Yeah, Jack is like the number 1 cheese you see on the plate to put cheese on crackers.
Because it's like the generic cheese.
Right, that will not offend. They'll be right everybody.
It offends
right?
no one's sensibilities.
Right, it doesn't taste like nothing. Right, it doesn't.
It tastes close to nothing.
Yeah,
Jack is only a step above American cheese.
Also, people usually would use like a pepper jack for that has peppery stuff in it.
Well, yeah, because you got to add something to it because the cheese by itself is not that good. It's actually kind of springy and a little rubbery. Like, it's not. It doesn't melt
I think it's
that
a little
well.
tough.
Yeah,
right, is
and
the
it
thing.
doesn't
It's like
actually
you gotta,
melt
you gotta
that well.
bite into it, or like to get the knife through is a little bit of effort.
Yep, and a pure Jack cheese grilled cheese sandwich, not really better than an
that's
American
not a cheese.
cheese.
It's not a cheese for grilling. It's just a cheese for putting on a cracker. And
Yeah.
eating.
No, so
But it's like you have that, and it's like people who would avoid your powerful stinky cheese, right? And don't want to eat a cheese that's a weird color. That's what that Jack cheese is for. It's for
Jack cheese is for boring people.
It goes on the cheese plate to be eaten by the boring people. It has a flavor, right? It's a stronger flavor than an American cheese, but it's not. I'm not choosing. I'm not buying it at the store, really.
So in terms of a cheese I like to just eat by itself, I'm pretty much I actually, while I do like some stinky cheeses, the cheeses I like to eat the most are like a Port Salut, a cheddar, like just straight up cheddar. I will just eat on crackers.
Cheddar, I feel like I gotta I use it to like melt onto something. Usually, I like cheddars when there's some kind of barbecue sauce involved. Right?
Yeah, I can see that.
Like if you're making a burger or like a chicken sandwich and you're getting some barbecue sauce on it and maybe some onion, and it's like the cheese that's got to the only cheddar cheese goes in that mix. No other cheese fits in that.
But like
slot.
the cheese by itself, I like just like a white goat cheese.
But
I like
cheddar cheese doesn't work on like a sub sandwich.
Nah.
It's like weird.
But like a Port Salut, or I also like Manchego and like that class of cheeses a lot.
I mean, if I'm not going down the barbecue road, right? If I'm melting a cheese onto a thing, it's got to be the best possible cheese is something in like the Gruyere family.
Oh, Gruyere. All right. That means we got to talk about grilled cheeses. The best grilled cheese is Gruyere plus a different cheese.
There are other cheeses that are like in the Gruyere family.
Yeah,
that
but take a Gruyere or a Gruyere adjacent and put one other cheese.
It's not only their flavor that works so well.
Oh, they melt so good.
It's the way they melt makes it perfect for the function.
Yep.
Right? It's like there are a lot of cheeses that might actually taste great if you were to say grilled cheese them, but they don't melt nicely and they make a mess, or they get too messy, or maybe they don't melt enough,
or they take a lot of effort. Like you could make a grilled cheese with them, but it takes a lot of effort. Right. But with like a Gruyere Swiss together works really well.
It was like designed for melting.
Yep. So in terms,
Swiss is more of a cold sandwich cheese.
yeah,
If I make a lot of times,
or a burger cheese.
yeah, sometimes.
Swiss is good on a burger,
Let's go
but
with the mushroom.
I like Emmental better than Swiss for that.
Yeah. What I tend to use Swiss for is like a lot of times what I'll do when I'm lazy is for dinner I'll make a cheese sandwich. I'll buy a bread
Yep.
and I'll just not a hot sandwich, a cold sandwich. I'll put on, no meats, right? I'll just put on like cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion, maybe not even lettuce, peppers, salt and pepper, maybe a dressing, right? It's basically a salad on a bread.
With that,
It's
I
like
like
a cheese salad on a bread, and that's where I bust out my Swiss. I'll bust out provolone. I'll
Yep.
bust out Munster. Those are the kinds of cheeses that go on the cold sandwich. Also, if I am getting a sandwich even with meats,
Yep.
right? And I and it's a kind of sandwich where I am gonna put cheese with the meat together. Those are the same cheeses that I'll go to, right? Provolone plus
Yeah.
some kind of Italian meats together, right? This is how it works.
Yep. I'm a big fan of like the Bries and all the like fungusy cheeses, but I actually do not like the rind. Like that's just a thing. I do not like.
No, I do not eat the.
I
rind
love
either.
Brie, but I'm
Yes,
that dude.
Brie, I gotta eat the mushy part. That's like
The good part.
You can spoon it. It's so mushy, right? That inside the rind.
Yep.
But like the rind itself, it's like it's all hard and it tastes too strong and weird.
It
It's
tastes too fungusy and like musty.
yeah, it's not.
I mean, I don't like people can like that. Like I can see the appeal. I just don't personally enjoy that. That's partly why, as much as I like Brie, I tend to go with Port Salut because it's similar to the Brie in terms of like how you would eat it and like why you'd like it. But there's like an inedible rind you just don't eat. You just get the good Port Salut in the middle, and you get a lot more of it. I'm also a fan of like Huntsman cheeses and like all the sort of like really strong flavored cheeses that aren't that stinky, but they have a really strong flavor, or like Stelton. Love me a
Well,
Stilton.
the Stilton is like the dreaming cheese, right?
Yeah, well, arguably, probably just because it causes significant indigestion. It may or may not have chemicals that mess with dreams. It's jury's still out. I do like a smoke.
Oh, I think wasn't like Comte. I think that was the Gruyere adjacent cheese.
I think so. Yeah.
That was good for me.
I am not a cheese expert. Our friend Natalie is way better at this than we are.
There's a cheese shop in New York, Murray's Cheese. Not only can
Oh, they're opening one right next, like right down the street.
Whoa.
Like right
Yeah,
there.
It's a chain. I've only seen it in New York City, but it is a chain.
Their outlet is over by the rail yard in this neighborhood. You can go there and buy like their defective.
A whole wheel.
You can buy a whole wheel that's defective because it got dented for like 10% of the normal price.
Wow. But yeah, it's a chain. I've only seen it in New York City. It might be elsewhere. They have such a crazy variety of cheeses there. Like it's amazing. Top flight cheeses down to the cheapy cheeses, right? It's just a cheese shop. It's amazing. And Natalie goes there, and like that's like her favorite store. She's all into the cheeses. I go, and I'm just like, let's try that cheese I never heard of. Whatever.
Yeah. I do like the smoked cheeses, like the Gouda.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a good one.
I tend to only like Gouda like by itself though. Like I don't really cook with it. I don't really like try to make things out of it. I just eat it. Like I do separate cheeses into the cheeses I put on salads, the ones I put on sandwiches, the ones I'll just eat as a primary thing, and the ones I will cook with. Like mozzarella, actually I will cook with and I'll just eat because I love mozzarella. Especially like and I really like cheese curds. Like just Gennaro cheese curd.
Well, the thing with mozzarella, right, is like growing up, that was when like the string cheese was invented,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, first of all, you're in love with mozzarella because it's on pizza, right? That's like you can't really. I mean, you can and maybe mix some other cheeses onto the pizza, but mozzarella's got to be there.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like that wet cheese. It melts onto the pizza at the high temperature. Right. You don't let it go so far that it gets burnt and crusty.
Yep.
Right. It's like. But when it's more dried out, you can pull it into the strings. You can tear apart with your hands, right? It's like but definitely I'm all about buying the raw mozzarella that's still in some kind of liquid or in a ball or something like that. The fresh mozzarella, I don't buy the shredded stuff anymore. Really,
Yep.
it's all dried out. It's not as not as good.
Like feta, I usually get a big block of feta, usually Greek, but sometimes French or Bulgarian. Like they're fine.
Well, I mean, I live in Greek land, so like every grocery store has like several different fetas to choose from.
I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy Bulgarian feta more than Greek feta, and I'll make Greek and Turkish salads with Bulgarian feta primarily.
For me, I mean, it is a situation for me where sometimes I'll get feta cheese, like like you'll get a salad, a Greek salad, and there'll be the feta wrapped in the leaves in there.
Yeah.
And like sometimes it's like, oh, this is so great, this feta cheese, it's working great, crumbled up in this salad. It's but sometimes I get it, and it's just like, And since it's always been the case,
The
where
more
it's like,
expensive feta is just better.
right?
Like
it's like
100%.
I wasn't the one who chose the feta, but there were like times where I eat it and it's like ew, and times I eat it where it's like ah. So
cheese is one of those things.
I'm pretty sure I only like expensive feta and not cheap feta.
Cheese is one of those things where, except for like these basic cheeses that are very ubiquitous in America, most cheeses, the more money you pay, up to a point, it is just better.
Yeah.
Like way better. And that sucks, but that's the reality of it.
I think
there's
there's that series of videos with like Food Expert. I think one just went up today with Mustard Expert.
Ooh.
But I think we made it thing of the day when we discovered it. Because there was Cheese Expert was like one of the first videos. So watch that.
Yeah. So on that note, I think we're going to stop here because I got to go eat some cheese.
You're going to stop here before I talk about some Parmesan and sprinkly cheese?
All right, we'll do one last bit. So these are the accent cheeses that you sprinkle onto another dish.
Right, you get your Parmesan. It's usually Italian, right? It's Parmesan, Pecorino / Romano.
I tend to do this lately with Manchego. I'll just shred Manchego over stuff.
Yeah, if you get the microplane, you can do it with a lot of cheeses that you normally couldn't do it with, as long as the cheese is hard enough.
Yep, which, secret, if you got a cheese that isn't hard enough, just put it in the freezer for like a minute.
Yep.
And then you can shred it.
Right, sometimes, though, you shred it, and then, like, if your dish is hot, it melts and disappears and sort of mixes into the dish.
Which,
and it ends up
like
being
with
more
a
of
chili,
liquid
you
cheese.
want that?
Sometimes with a chili, but sometimes you want the coating. Right?
Nah, I want it to mix in usually.
Anyway, but yeah, the Parmesan cheese, you definitely have
I
to...
never get it grated anymore. I will grate it at
You definitely
eating time.
have to watch out for the ones with the sawdust filler and stuff like that. It's not going to hurt you, but it's like, the already grated Parmesan, even if it's fancy brand, it's like, no, there's filler and stuff in there. It's not the best cheese, and it goes bad quicker, right? You want to get the solid piece of Parmesan, even if it's just a little sliver triangle. You can grate it yourself. If there's mold on there, you can scrape it off and start shredding underneath, right? That's the way you go. And if you got the monies, it's like, actually, yes, the like special product Parmigiano Reggiano is just better.
Yep.
It's like, just go for it. Buy like a tiny slivery triangle of it because it's a lot of money and shred it yourself. It's worth it.
So one thing I like about living in New York is that it's very easy to just on my way home, like if I want a fancy cheese for something, I will buy like a tiny bit of that cheese at a cheese shop and have it home, and I eat it all in that meal, and there's no chance of it going to waste, just no chance of it going bad. I'm not going to try to explain to you how to not let your cheese go bad, just like Google it.
Right,
It's
and I guess we're
not
not going to talk
hard.
about any sort of creamed cheeses here, right?
No, we can't. That's a whole topic.
Like some alouette.
I feel like we talk about that, we have to do a whole show about it. This is the bagel
A whole
schmear.
show just on cream cheese.
On the bagel schmear. I could do a whole
and
show
other,
just on
other
cream cheese.
creamy cheeses like mascarpone.
I could do a whole show just on that.
Okay.
Geek Nights is now Cheese Nights.
Cheese nights.
It's the spin-off show.
This is Cheese Nights.
We just live stream ourselves.
But we don't.
eating
But we're
cheese.
running out of cheese knowledge. We'd have to actually get cheese experts on the show.
Oh yeah, because we are color and commentary.
I'm sure there's a cheese podcast out there somewhere.
Yeah, go find that if you want to know more about cheese. My primary interest in cheese is eating it.
Yeah, that's right.
With wine, with port.
I'm gonna eat some for dinner, probably.
I may too.
I'm gonna get some.